There are lots of myths about tarot cards, but today we're going to look at 5 of the worst. Myth number 1, you have to be gifted your tarot decks. I don't even know where to begin with that one. Who came up with such a bizarre concept? I mean, what if you live in a very conservative town and all your friends and family members go to a fundamentalist church that condemns tarot as the work of the devil? How are you going to get gifted a tarot deck? You could wait around all of your life and never get a deck. So of course, you don't have to wait to be gifted a deck. If you want it, go buy one. Buy 10. Buy 100 if you're an obsessive collector freak like me. Myth number 2, you have to cleanse your decks. Look, if someone wipes their snotty nose and touches your cards, sure, get out the Clorox wipes. But you don't need to cleanse your decks with sage or salt or crystals or moonlight just because someone touches them. Tarot cards are made of cardstock and ink. If you enjoy cleansing your cards, or if it's part of your tradition, or if you truly feel like they pick up yucky energy from other people, by all means keep doing it. But I never cleanse my cards, and I've been reading and teaching professionally for my entire adult life. So do it if you feel the need to, but please don't feel like you have to. Myth number 3, you need to use spreads. When I first started reading tarot cards at the tender age of 11, I had this Celtic cross made of paper that came with my James Bond 007 tarot card set. Now, I would take a card, lay it on the spot on the sheet, read the words about the meaning of the position on the layout, then read the meaning of each card from the book. I hereby apologize to all my poor friends and family who had to endure that exquisite tarot torture. Sorry about that. Spreads are great, and use them if they work for you. But often I just put a row of 3 cards, or sometimes maybe 2 rows of 3. Sometimes I move the cards around a little bit, make shapes, and that provides my clients with a deep and meaningful hour-long reading. That's how I teach my students too, improvise. So try to break free from spreads and be a little more free-form with your cards and how you lay them out, and see if your readings improve. Myth number 4, tarot is a repository of ancient Egyptian and Jewish wisdom, including Kabbalah, astrology, and alchemical symbolism, and it's all encoded in the cards. Now, I apologize because this is a big belief for a lot of people, but it's just not true. Tarot was a card game similar to bridge that was invented in Italy in the 15th century and wasn't even used for divination likely until at least 100 years after that point. All of the occult symbolism you see in those modern cards, the pentacles and the astrological signs, you can thank esoteric Freemasons from the 18th and 19th centuries for all that. They made it all up. It was not baked into the original tarot cards. Now, once again, if you use astrology or Kabbalah in your readings and it works for you, if it's useful, keep doing it. And I'm not going to tell you to stop doing something if it works for you. Just be aware that although it works for you, and that sort of esoteric imagery and philosophy is built into many modern decks, it is not universal in the world of tarot. You can give incredible readings without incorporating any of that symbolism or esoteric stuff. Myth number 5, tarot is the domain of pagans and witches, and should be avoided by upright Christian folks. The truth behind this myth often blows people's minds because tarot has become so closely associated with witchcraft in our culture. But there's nothing pagan or witchy about its origins. And in fact, the earliest tarot cards were explicitly Christian in their imagery because Europe at the time was ruled by the Catholic Church. The Hierophant in modern decks was the Pope in the earliest decks. The High Priestess was the female Pope, which admittedly is kind of weird. In fact, if you use the Rider-Waite deck, which you probably do, or a spin-off of it since it's the most popular deck in the world, it is chock full of Roman Catholic iconography, from the resurrection at the Last Judgment to the Paraclete or Holy Spirit in the form of a dove descending over a chalice with the Eucharistic host in its beak. I mean, I went to Catholic Sunday school as a kid, and it doesn't get more Catholic and less witchy than the Ace of Cups. Of course, now you can pick up Wiccan, witchcraft-themed, and pagan decks of all sorts, and that's wonderful. Tarot is infinitely adaptable to all sorts of belief systems, and although I'm not a witch, the majority of my many witch friends practice tarot. But that's a relatively new development. The early European readers were almost always Christian or Catholic, or at least nominally so. So that's just a quick look at some of the most popular but misinformed myths about tarot. Did I miss any others? Let me know in the comments. And please subscribe if you like this sort of thing, because I have a lot more on tarot to come. So thanks again, magical people, and I will see you next week.